Chapter 12, Acts of Charity. The next morning, you venture down to the lower decks with Adele, ready to begin your charitable venture. My goodness, I hadn't realized the lower decks was so cramped. Lady Edith is already waiting for you alongside Miss Beckwith and Lady Gordon, who you met yesterday, all dressed in their daytime finest. For all their talk of charity, these women certainly don't seem to mind flaunting their wealth. No wonder the sicknesses spread so quickly down here. Sicknesses? What do you mean, Lady Edith? Oh, you know, the lower classes are always coming down with the one horrid illness or another. Which is why charitable adventures like these are so important. We will do good giving them our unwanted items. I couldn't agree more, Lady Gordon. Maybe the iced biscuits I bought with my spare change will save a passenger from starvation. And I'm sure the children will appreciate these cheap tin soldiers and cast-off hair ribbons. Ah, yes, that'll help them from illness. I think they deserve better than your spare ribbons. The passengers down here are just like us, not desperate Dickinson orphans. They have dignity and standards. Of course, but given their difficult lot in life, surely they would appreciate anything we can offer. And I wouldn't say they're just like us, the poor dears. Otherwise, they'd have first-class tickets. Adele purses her lips thoughtfully as the other women titter with laughter. You allow yourself a quiet sigh. Well, I tried. As Lady Edith leads you all down the hallway with her nose held high, Adele quietly sidles up to you. I hope this trip will be good an opportunity for you, Violet. For what? Patronizing our fellow passengers? To see what your life could be if you don't find the family a good match. Like a certain Philippe, for instance. Of course, I'll try to bear that in mind. Though the only reason I'm really here is to see Theo. Don't forget to pick up your skirts as you walk, ladies. You don't know what kind of filth could be lingering on the ground. Oh, yes. There might be fecal matter. Careful of the walls and the ceilings, too. As you follow the ladies drone on about the horrible conditions on the lower deck, you scan the hallways for Theo, but instead come across a different familiar face. Hello, miss. Fancy seeing you again so soon. Oh no, Adele can't know I've been down here. Hans and I were just talking about how well you cut a jig on the table the other night. It was quite the party, don't you think? Party? What party? I think you might be confusing me for someone else. And don't worry, it happens all the time. I have just one of those faces. You give Elsie an apologetic smile as ladies continue bustling down the hallways, your mind churning with sudden anxiety. Being here may be more complicated than I thought. If anyone acts as though they know me, Adele could learn how much time I've been spending here with Theo. I'm going to need backup if I aim to keep this ruse up. You clear your throat, slowing in the corridor as the ladies press forward. Would you all excuse me for a moment? I need a breath of fresh air. These hallways are so terribly cramped, I'm afraid I feel a touch of claustrophobia coming on. Oh dear, I hope it's not catching. Oh Lord, you really are stupid. Luckily, Adele is distracted enough by your companions that she gives a dismissive wave. Alright, Violet, just don't be away too long. Now, Lady Gordon, you were saying... I was wondering if anyone else is feeling a bit thirsty from all this walking. What kind of champagne do you think they serve here? Slipping away from the group, you duck down a nearby hall and slip into Theo's room. Theo sits on his bunk, tuning his fiddle. His eyes widen, and you duck inside and close the door behind you. Violet, I wasn't expecting to see you again so soon. I hope this is a pleasant surprise, then. Theo sets his fiddle aside and crosses the room in an instant to wrap his arms around you. Always. He kisses you, and for a moment all the worries are forgotten as you melt into his arms. Nip at his lower lip. Theo's mouth is warm against yours, his familiar scent swirling heavily all around you. You snag his lower lip between your teeth, pulling back just enough to earn you a groan. You give anything to stay locked here in his arms, if only Adele and the others weren't waiting for you. You reluctantly pull away, already missing the taste of him against your lips. Oh, Theo. Despite the heat of his skin, you shiver a little as he strokes his fingers down your back. As much as I'd love to stay here, I actually came to ask for your help. As much as if you have to ask. What do you need? We'll be down here all afternoon performing charity, but Adele doesn't know, or can't know, that I've been spending time here. Can't know about us either. He smiles, stepping closer to you. He draws his hand lightly down your cheek, looking deeply into your eyes. Leave it to me. I have the perfect plan. You return to Adele and the other ladies, continuing their charity tour in the mess hall. They gingerly pass out the food they've brought for the third-class passengers, whispering to themselves all the while. How sad, the small boy didn't even know what foie gras was. Neither do I. I guess I'm not rich enough. These people obviously have no taste. Why? I just overheard one young woman claim the soup here is delicious. Over your shoulder, Theo lingers in the doorway, not wanting to be seen entering at your side. That seems rather uncalled for. I'm sure it is delicious. No need to be so defensive. It's not as though you've been subjecting yourself to their food, have you? No, of course not. Before you can go on, a vaguely familiar man stops halfway down the line where people collect their food, looking at you with delight. Hey, but it's Lady Luck herself, and yet you're still shirtless. Oh no, he's the one poker player from the other night. Lady Luck! Surely he does not mean you, Violet. Of course not. It must be a funny nickname for the ladies on board. I think Lady Liberty would be more appropriate. Edith gives a delicate shudder, her lip curling with distaste. Oh, personally, I've always found the Statue of Liberty to be rather gauche. Hey, listen up! Hey, guess what? Psst, hey, guess what? The people where you come from literally made it. You uneducated buffoon. However, unlike Edith, Adele is still eyeing the man suspiciously. Your stomach sinks as she turns to you, a question forming on her lips. But before it quite escapes, Theo hurries up to your group, catching the man's attention. There you are. You know, I think your friend is looking for you. My friend? Big fellow Burley mentioned something about you owing him money. Oh God, tell him you never saw me. And you never saw me before. To your relief, the man scurries away. Theo turns to you and Adele with a charming smile. It's nice to see you both again, Miss Adele, Miss Violet. I'm guessing you've recovered from our game of croquet? Adele's eyes flicker in recognition. She offers Theo a polite nod. Oh, yes, that was you. How lovely to see you again. Tegan, was it? Theo sweeps in an exaggerated bow, grinning, and Lady Edith and the others flutter slightly in excitement. Theo, Carter, at your service. I've heard you ladies are here on a mission of mercy. All of us here owe you some thanks. Lady Gordon's gaze lingers on his broad shoulders, while Miss Beckwith appears quite taken with his well-muscled forearms. You can thank us by telling us if you're single. If so, I'd be happy to make you my valet. Lucy, you don't need to be so forward. Your heart skips a beat as Theo's gaze flicks ever so briefly in your direction. I'm afraid my heart is already taken, ma'am, but thank you for your generous offer. Ahem. Let's not forget why we're here, ladies. We may have distributed our food, but there are still toys for the children. Perhaps we could give them to ones in the medical suite. I'd prefer them to be as pitiful as possible. Wow. How kind of you, but it looks like some of your lovely food still needs to be passed out. Theo glances at you, his voice is thick with meaning. Maybe Miss Violet and I could bring the toys to the children ourselves. Delivering the toys would mean a chance to spend more time together and to see Theo with children. Also, you don't want the fine ladies of first-class tickets to catch anything. Heat blooms in your cheeks at the chance to slip away with Theo, even if only for a fleeting moment. What a wonderful idea. With Mr. Carter here helping, none of you need to trouble yourselves about contamination. Contamination! He immediately backs you up, his eyes sparkling a little even as he manages a solemn nod. Nothing to worry about, miss. It's just some of the folks down here occasionally have fleas. Oh my god. Oh, sorry. Oh dear. Are you sure it's safe for my sister? I'll keep her free and clear, don't you worry. She can just hold the basket while I hand out your gifts. Oh, good, excellent. We'll stay here and teach the masses how to appreciate foie gras. How charitable. You gather the toys from the other ladies and slip out into the halls with Theo. The moment you're alone, he loops an arm through yours, smiling. This way, Miss Violet. It's nice for you to come all the way down here just for us poor, unfortunate souls. You lean into his touch for a fleeting moment, relishing the friction of that small contact, even though through the folds of your dress. Oh, believe me, it's my pleasure. Theo brings you to a medical suite. A kind-looking nurse bustles over to you. May I help you? I hope so. We've brought some toys for the sick children. Would it be all right if we handed them out? Of course. That's very kind of you. I have to say, everyone here looks pretty healthy to me. Though, as you step further into the room, several children in beds sit upright, their eyes sparkling. What brings you all here? I'm seasick. And I'm a seasicker. I scraped my knee. Nurse Halliday says I'm very brave. I'm braver. And I'm the bravest. Laughing, Theo reaches out to ruffle the girl's hair. What do you think, Violet? I think you're all very brave. Much braver than I would be, I'm sure. But you're a grown-up. Everyone knows that grown-ups don't get scared. Give it about 100 years and you'll see how scared people get now. Internet! Like text and a book will scare people. Sorry, no, sorry. What's the internet? Oh, don't worry about it. Theo sits... you'll miss a good time. See, Theo sits on the end of one of the beds and the children all lean closer to him, rapt with attention. If I tell you a secret, do you promise not to share it? The children nod eagerly, and then you feel a wave of tenderness wash through you as Theo gives them a solemn look, addressing them like equals. The truth is that everyone gets scared sometimes, even grown-ups. Being brave just means that you don't let it stop you. Really? I guess if grown-ups can do that, we can too. Maybe these will help you feel a little braver. Hand them out, toy soldiers. All the children take one eagerly, but the girl shivers a little as she hugs the tiny soldier to her chest, looking pale. Here, would you like something a little cozier for you than when you all aren't playing the soldiers? You reach into your basket of trinkets from Edith and the others and manage to find a cute stuffed bear. Better for snuggling. Oh, thank you. It's so cute. Are you sure you're alright? It's just my tummy. Nurse Halliday says all I can do is wait for the seasickness to pass. Overhearing your conversation, Theo sidles over to join you. He offers the girl an encouraging smile. Maybe I could help. We sailors know a thing or two about seasickness, you know. You're a sailor? But I thought you worked in the furnace room. Theo is a man of many talents. He's not just a stoker, he's also a sailor, a waiter, a tour guide, and a musician. The little girl looks up at Theo, obviously impressed. I'd like to be a musician someday. Or maybe a scientist, or a circus performer. Ooh, or a sailor like you. Stick with scientist, my dear. We need more in the field. You suppress a smile, meeting Theo's gaze above the little girl's head. The sparkle in his eyes makes your heart lift. You seem pretty tough, though I think you can be anything you could imagine. Theo's right. Reaching in his pocket, Theo pulls out a small paper-wrapped twist of candy. He hands it to the little girl. Here, try this. Ginger chews are an old sailor's trick to help with the seasickness. The girl reaches for the candy, quickly unwrapping the sweet and popping it in her mouth. I knew you were one of the nice ones. Some other crew members say we're bothering them, but I've never seen you shoo us away. No matter how noisy we're being. That does sound like Theo. The girl already looks a little less queasy. Clutching her new teddy bear to her chest, she eagerly turns to show the others her new gift. Look how soft he is! Can I pet his ears? Theo really is wonderful with them. I didn't think I could love him any more than I already do, but... Theo leans beside you as you watch the children play. As you glance over at him, a tingling warmth spreads through your veins. Are you alright, Violet? Oh yes, just thinking that the children are probably entertained for now. Seems like it. So, where does that leave us? With a nurse busy in a neighboring office, you give him in to a sudden impulse and pull Theo behind one of the room's many privacy screens. With about a minute of our own. You press a soft kiss to his lips. Theo eagerly responds, gathering you closer and deepening the kiss. I like this minute. You trail your hands down his chest, allowing yourself enough pressure to feel every hard line of his toned muscle, all the way down to his waist. Theo's groan of approval is thankfully muffled by your kisses, and he wraps an arm around your waist to press you closer to his sturdy chest. God, Violet. By the time you pull back, both of you are breathing hard. The tenderness of seeing him with the children still lingers with you as he smiles. Not that I'm complaining, but what was that for? For being so perfect, Theo-y. I'm not sure Theo-y is a word. Lifting your chin, you wave your hand through the air. Well, it should be. A word for someone who is kind, gentle, funny, smart, and irresistibly charming. Laughing, you kiss him one more time, feeling the warmth spread through your veins as Theo's smile presses against yours. Devastatingly charming, you mean? But we should probably hand out the last of these presents and get back to my, companions. Right. I'm a little new to this whole doling out charity thing. He reaches up to brush a thumb over your lips, where you can still feel the press of his kiss. But for a first pass, I have to say it's been swell. I'm glad you agree, Mr. Carter. You and Theo find Adele and the others in a nearby hall, just as Edith is discussing one last batch of charitable items. These combs will be much appreciated, I'm sure. Who knows what sort of horrible bugs may be lurking on the lower decks? She gives a delicate shudder, clutching one hand to her heart. Good lord, Lady Edith should have taken the stage at last night's play. Not to mention the terrible smell down here. I'm sure all the women will be grateful for this orange blossom and de toilette. It's the very latest fashion in Parish. Miss Beckwith peers anxiously up and down the hallway, clutching her radical closer to her side. I only hope we're safe. I've heard stories about the terrible thieves that lurk below deck. But before the ladies can work themselves into more of a tizzy, Theo steps forward, flashing a reassuring smile at them. If it would make you feel better, I'd be happy to be your guide for the rest of this little tour. I'm not sure I can imagine, find our way around on our own. Seeing the skepticism on Adele's face and the intrigue on some of the others, you chime in. Come now, with Theo's help, we can be back to our quarters as quickly as possible. I know we're all anxious to return to familiar sights and, smells of our own deck. Violet's right. I say we take this kind man up on his offer. Yes, on second thought, my sister makes a good point. In that case, step right this way, ladies. Just stick with me and you'll be safe. share a private smile with Theo as he confidently leads the way through the corridors. Eventually, he stops to knock on a door. Hey, Javier, I heard you broke your good comb, and these good ladies might have a replacement. Really? Thank you. Oh, I smell orange blossom among the group of lovely visions. Yes, I rather thought one of the ladies might like it, but if you prefer... As the ladies distribute their hygiene products throughout the passenger quarters, Theo keeps up a running stream of commentary. You'll note that most of the third-class cabins are located on the F deck. Unlike some of the other ships this size, third-class passengers have designated cabins, even if most of us do have to share them. Good gracious, how do you know your way around so well? Just call me the unofficial captain of the lower decks. I know everyone and everyone knows me. As if to prove his point, you suddenly hear Mac calling out Theo's name. Look, it's Theo. You turn to see Samuel tagging behind Mac down the corridor, their faces lighting up at the sight of you both. And Violet, we heard a group of well-to-do ladies were down here, but we didn't know you'd be a part of it. Your heart sinks as Adele turns curiously in Mac and Samuel's direction. If she realizes how well they know me, Theo and I will be sunk. See, Theo has spread word of our charitable endeavor. These young gentlemen have even managed to learn my name somehow. Theo shoots a meaningful look in Mac and Samuel's direction. Yes, they must have heard me talking to you in the mess hall. Isn't that right? Oh, right. We must have been confusing her with a different Miss Violet. And I've never met her before in my life. I just, took a guess about her name. Ah, yes, lucky guess. As you ladies can tell, we below deck folks like to joke around. Mac, maybe you could tell Lady Edith and the others about the time you switched the mess hall's salt shakers for sugar. How impertinent. Well, if you think that's bad, just wait until you hear about the time we switched the water bottles for whiskey. Looking pleasantly scandalized, the ladies happily continue on their way, already deep in conversation with Mac and Samuel. Thank heavens for Theo. I don't know what I'd do without him. To your surprise, you see Adele stopping to chat with a few passengers in the doorway as well. Thank you for the toothpaste. I'm afraid I didn't pack nearly as much as I should have. Oh, me neither. Our journey from Switzerland to Cherbourg for the ship took much longer than we thought it would. Oh, the Swiss Alps were much larger than Violet and I expected as well. Do you happen to know Lucerne? Oh, yes, I have family there near the old town. The disaster averted. This is all going much better than expected. Taking advantage of the other's distraction, Theo subtly pulls you aside. Follow me in here. While your companion's laughter echoes through the halls, he tugs you around a corner into what looks like a changing room for crew members. Theo, what are you doing? Luckily, the room seems to be empty, and Theo grins, sliding his strong hands around your waist to pull you closer. What do you think? Couldn't see you down here and not kiss you again. Not when we didn't have nearly enough time earlier. Even with the others just outside, you can't deny the temptation. Wrapping your hands around Theo's neck, you pull him close, kissing him deeply. Violet. The sound of his voice, low and husky in your ears, enough to make you throw caution to the wind. You gasp in pleasure as Theo's tongue slips in your mouth, each stroke sending a sudden pulse of need through you. The others are distracted for a few minutes. Just enough time if we make the most of it. Just a suggestion in Theo's voice, such a pulse quickening in your veins. I suppose it would be a shame to waste the opportunity. Theo's smile curves wickedly upward. Wordlessly, he presses you back against the door, capturing your mouth beneath his. Then we'd better not waste any time. As Theo's warm tongue slips into your mouth, you're vaguely aware of the low murmur of the voices down the hallway outside, but the realization only heightens your desperation. Stifling a moan, you thrust your hips upward, grinding eagerly against Theo. Do you know how much I've wanted this since the moment you walked into my room? Yes, because I have too. Oh, and what exactly have you wanted? Show him where I need him. I wanted to feel you here. Reaching up, you trace the full curve of your lower lip, pretending it's Theo's hand against your mouth. And here. Slowly, you trail your hand down your chest, skimming the full curve of your bosom, and Theo groans softly. God. Good. Where else? Here. Tipping your head back against the door, you let your fingers slip between your legs, stroking yourself through the fabric of your skirt. Theo growls low in his throat, reaching for the bottom of your skirt. He hikes it up nearly to your waist. Ah. Already you feel your wetness pulling between your thighs. Theo roughly slides your underwear to the side, sending a new rush through your body. His desperation makes you ache with me arching against him until he plunges his ruh-roh. Basically, you can assume where it went to. You know I have to remove it because of you two. For a long moment, you remain tangled together, your breath coming in short, ragged pants as you both float back to Earth. At last, your pulse begins to slow. Theo reaches up to push a lock of stray hair away from your cheek. How do you feel? Only wish we had time for more. Despite the giddy, floating feeling still coursing through your veins, there's a soft ache building between your thighs. Theo teasingly brushes a hand over your sensitive skin, grinning as you gasp. So do I. Maybe next time without all the chaperones, we'll have room for a second round. He slowly pulls his hand away, leaving you wanting more, even though you know he means to keep his word. I suppose I can survive until then. Reluctantly, you force yourself to stand, straightening your clothing. Theo does the same, tucking his shirt back into his trousers. But we'd better hurry back before anyone misses us. Even Adele can't talk about Swiss architecture forever. Theo laughs, pressing a final kiss to your still tingling lips. You're right, Violet, I should let you go. For now. To your relief, the rest of the tour passes smoothly, but all too soon you find yourself bidding Theo farewell with the other ladies. Thank you again for helping us with our charity tour, Mr. Carter. It was very, fulfilling. I, for one, found it to be shocking. Who would have guessed the lower decks were so dusty? Remembering your rendezvous with Theo in the changing room, you duck your head to hide a smile. Oh, Edith, you'd be much more shocked if you knew what else went on today. I found it surprisingly rewarding. Thank you for accompanying us, Mr. Carter. My pleasure, ma'am. I hope you ladies enjoy the rest of your day. Adele isn't a dummy. Theo escorts everyone to the stairwell before saying goodbye, shooting you one last private smile as you go. As you and Adele make your way back through the first-class hallways towards your room, you turn to her with a hopeful look. Perhaps now Adele's seen how people with less wealth live, she'll worry less about our future if I don't find an approved match. You seem to enjoy yourself today. What did you think of the conditions down there? It was going to help the families, of course. But the idea of living like that is unthinkable. If you can't work out an engagement with Philippi, I don't know what we shall do. I see. But would that really be so bad? People down there may not have much, but at least they seem happy. Oh, Violet, I wish that was enough, but happiness doesn't pay the bills. Now, we ought to freshen up. Philippi's invited us to dinner tonight with a few first-class passengers, and the captain himself. Uh-oh. Your stomach sinks at the thought, until you remember an exchange between Theo and some crewmen that night he showed you around the ship. Speaking of the captain, you haven't had a chance to ask him for that meeting yet, have you? Don't worry, Theo. We'll keep trying. I'd rather dine on rocks than with Philippi, but if the captain will be there, I could get Theo that conversation with the captain he's been hoping for. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Also, head down to the description of the video and check out the links there to support the channel, to become more of an intricate part of this family, this community that we have here, and just plenty of cool things to check out. Otherwise, once again, thank you all for watching. Much appreciated. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, what you thought about this video and chapter. Until then, catch y'all later. Peace out.